As some of you have noticed, I've recently made some new friends and I've been taking them off-road. Now their experience level whenever it comes to off-roading has ranged from extreme beginner all the way up to expert. But I noticed one thing that's in common with all of them. So today I'm going to show you 10 pieces of off-road gear and equipment that most people never even consider. So starting off with item number 1 here, let's start with the basics. I believe everyone should carry a nice set of gloves. Now, gloves can be useful for a bunch of different things, whether that's just keeping your hands clean or protecting your hands whenever you're in a recovery situation. Aside from that, whenever you're messing with all the nasty ropes and recovery gear, whenever you jump back into your nice machine, you don't want to cake the steering wheel and stain it up. So gloves can be extremely helpful, and for some reason people just don't consider them. Now for me, I prefer to get the mechanics gloves. They're tried, true, and they're perfect for every situation. You can find these literally anywhere. But most of the stuff I'm going to be talking about today, I will have an Amazon link down in the description below, and whenever you buy through that link, it does help out the channel. Now the second item on the list is something that goes along with one of your essential pieces of recovery gear. Pretty much everyone has a winch on their vehicle now, especially if they're into more extreme riding. Now, whenever you get a winch, you have the option of getting a wireless winch, which is way more convenient. It saves you the trouble of having to be within the reach of that cord and just gives you way more control. But a lot of times people don't remember that those have batteries in them that can die. So you should always stay on top of your batteries in them, but as a backup, always carry a corded winch remote with you. I've seen it time and time again. Someone will get super excited because they finally have the ability to use their winch that they paid all that money for. They pull out the remote they've had for 5 years in there and never used, go to press it, and the battery inside the wireless remote is dead. So always carry a wired winch remote as a backup. Even though these are a little bit more annoying to use, it'll be a lot better to use this than not be able to use that fancy winch at all. Now while we're on the recovery gear topic, you might think that I'm going to mention a high lift jack, but I'm pretty sure everyone and their mother already has one. These are extremely effective in situations where you need to use them off-road, especially for high clearance vehicles because they reach so much higher. Now with that, you'll see that they have a standard base plate on the bottom. Most of the time whenever you do need to use this, the environment that you're in is not going to be very good for this small base plate. Now a really good solution to alleviate that issue is going to be getting a bigger base plate jack pad. So for this, you essentially slide your jack pad into this slot, and then you have a lot more surface area to do your lifting. Now for me, whenever I've used this in the past, it's been in the mud, and the high lift jack will literally sink down into the mud before it'll actually start lifting the vehicle up. So with this, just increasing your footprint is going to give you the ability to actually jack your vehicle up. Now this is actually made by 7 Sparta. It's a pretty new product, and I actually made the review for them. They didn't ask me to include it in any video or anything, but I thought it was so cool that I really wanted to show you guys. It's got texture on the front here, that way you can get a little bit of extra grip. It's got ridges. These are support ridges to make sure that it can withstand the weight you're going to be putting up here. And then it's also got some extra texture on the bottom. Now I know a lot of you guys carry around the high lift jacks all the time. And I truly believe if you're going to make the commitment to carry around that heavy piece of equipment, then you might as well carry around this little accessory. That way whenever the situation arises and you need to use your high lift jack, you'll actually be able to. Now this next product is something that literally everyone has. It just seems like no one remembers it whenever it comes time to go off-road. And that item is a mechanic's paper towel roll. Now these are just as simple as they look. They are a little bit more heavy duty than your standard paper towel rolls that you'll use for your house or in your kitchen. So these will withstand holding a lot more fluids if you're going to be checking fluids and stuff like that. But you can also use these if you need to go use the bathroom, if you need to blow your nose, if you need to wipe something off of your face. These have 1,000 different uses. It just seems like it's a product that most people forget about whenever it comes time to hit the trail. So I think it's something that everyone should bring with them. Now for this next product, it solves a problem that I've had for a while and I've had an idea of fixing, but it fixes that problem for a whole lot better price. This is the VeloWave Ranger 2.0. Now for years, I've tried to pull myself together to buy a off-road oriented motorcycle to carry on the back of my off-road machines whenever we go on crazy adventures. But I haven't been able to convince myself to do it yet, simply because of the price. Now, the ideal bike I had in mind was going to be the Yamaha TW200. For those of you that know, it has a massive fat tire, just like this Ranger 2.0. Now, the main idea behind having a secondary mode of transportation out on the trail is because if this thing goes down, or the Bronco Raptor, we're kind of stuck in dead water. There are a lot of trails back there and a lot of miles to cover, so sometimes hiking out really isn't even an option. And with this VeloWave Ranger 2.0, not only could I drive back to the trailhead to try to get help, I could drive all the way to town, pick up the parts, and drive all the way back if need be, because this thing has got some pretty crazy specs. So obviously the install was a breeze. It took less than 30 minutes and I had this thing all put together. Now, those of you that know me or watch the channel, you know just how much I love some big wide tires. So this Ranger 2.0 definitely suits the bill for that. Not only that, this has a max speed of 28 miles per hour whenever you're using the pedal assist, and it can do 20 miles an hour just by using the throttle. It's absolutely insane. Now, this is powered by a lithium-ion battery stored right behind the brand name there. And then it's actually got a geared hub motor, and it's rated at 750 watts, a peak of 1000 watts there, and it's got a max torque of 80 Newton meters. Now, you're going to see the throttle right here, and whenever you turn it on, you're going to see that you've got 5 different pedal assist modes. So you click the buttons right here to go up. And for me, what I found is, like on technical trails, probably 2 or 3 is the best. And then whenever you go on up to 5, it's whenever you've got open trails there. You can really cover some ground in 5. This thing will absolutely fly. And then to turn on your headlight here, all you need to do is press the up button. And then you've got a decent little LED light to light up the trail. Now, aside from its overall construction and how much I like that, it's also got front and rear disc brakes and a rear rack. Now, this rear rack is absolutely crucial for what I plan to use it for, because if I am going to haul stuff out and haul stuff in, you've got to have a way to store it. Now, the range on this bike is absolutely mind-blowing. It's got a 90-mile range by pedal and 30 miles by just using the throttle. So that's super impressive, and it'll definitely get you out of the trails. And as for the tires, you can tell they're absolutely massive. They're 26 by 4.0, so they're 4 inches wide, and these are made by Kenda. Now, although my primary idea for this machine was to take it out on the trails to be a secondary form of transportation in the worst case scenario when the Jeep or the Bronco breaks down, but this is going to be awesome for whenever we do get done riding for the day, we get back to the campsite, and I can take this out and have a little bit more fun. Not only that, but I can use this as a tool for scouting. So if I'm going down a new trail I haven't been before, or if we get to a fork in the road and we don't know which way to go, this will be a great tool to use to really check the trails out before I put myself in a bad situation with one of the bigger machines. There are a ton of different uses for this, and obviously it is an absolute load of fun. Now, I had a plan to get a hitch-mounted motorcycle carrier, but I believe I have something that's going to work just fine with our fat tire bike. This is just a run-of-the-mill hitch packer that I use for hauling all kinds of stuff. And if my guesstimations are correct, this bike should fit on here just fine. And now, just like that, I can haul this thing anywhere. And for this hitch mount, it is super secure. Even off-road, it's going to have all the stability that I need. Now, what I do have in mind is getting something with an elevated mounting solution. So maybe something that goes about that high. So if I can find something that angles straight up here and raises about 2 feet, that would be absolutely perfect. That way we don't have to sacrifice any of our off-road capabilities. Now, if you're interested in getting a bike like this for yourself, be sure to go down in the link in the description below and check them out. They have a whole range of different bikes that you can choose from. So no matter what you're into, they'll have something to suit you. For the price, not only is it a great piece of equipment and seems to be extremely robust and capable, but to have a secondary mode of transportation that you're just going to be hauling around to use in a worst case scenario, I think this would be absolutely perfect. So a huge thanks to VeloWave for sending out this awesome product for us to test out and review. This will be a great tool to add to the arsenal of all of our off-road tools and equipment. Now, moving on to the next product, this is something that you guys should have seen in some of my previous videos. This is actually the Glue Tread tire repair kit. Now, with this repair kit, it is the Expedition, so it comes with everything. But the main thing I want to point out today is something that most people don't carry. Pretty much everyone is going to carry the normal T-handles, as well as the plugs to fill in a hole if you run over a nail or something like that. What most people don't carry is going to be the Colby valves and these massive pieces of rubber to seal up your sidewall if you actually get a tear on your sidewall. So along with that, they also give you some glue here to make sure that that rubber sticks to it. They also give you 2 smaller pieces of rubber if you have a smaller tear. So with this kit, it also comes with more stuff as well as sandpaper to make sure you can apply it. But pretty much everyone carries a small tire kit like a puncture repair kit. But I believe stepping up to this, where it comes with the sidewall repair, is extremely valuable, especially for people like me that are not running a full-size spare. I don't even run a spare at all on my Rubicon 392, but with these, it really gives me a lot more peace of mind. If I do rip the sidewall whenever we're climbing up rocks or whatever the case may be, I have the ability to repair it and get back out of the trail. So with this kit, it pretty much ensures that whatever happens to your tires, you can repair it and get back on the trail really fast. Now for the next product, it is something I mentioned in one of my recent videos, but a lot of you really liked the idea and hadn't thought about it, so I wanted to get that idea out to more people. It's just going to be a basic tarp. Now you can pick which different size you want. They make so many different sizes, but having a tarp is extremely valuable. Whether you're just trying to get out of the weather, or you need to lay down a mat to work on something under your vehicle, or if you need to make a makeshift shelter. There are tons of different uses for these out on the trail, and I really think people overlook them. They're super inexpensive and you can find them just about everywhere. It honestly does not matter what color you get, a tarp is a tarp, and they really do come in handy more than you would think. So next time you're at the store, just grab one or order one off Amazon, that way you have it next time you hit the trail. Now up next, let's talk about some flashlights. Now everyone knows you should have a flashlight, but it seems like no one brings one. Everyone thinks of the flashlight they have on their phone as being enough, but I can tell you from firsthand experience that whenever you get into a situation where you need a real flashlight, you need to work on your vehicle, you need to walk through the woods in the dark, your phone flashlight is not going to be enough. So I definitely recommend getting a really good flashlight, but to take it a step beyond a normal flashlight, I honestly believe everyone should have this exact flashlight. This is a product made by Novasight, a company I've worked with in the past. You can use this as a little lantern, and I actually use it for my studio light. That's why you can tell the light looks so much different now. But you can also unscrew that there, and you've got a really wide open work light. Now this will literally light up your entire camp just by twisting these knobs on the back. You've got the yellow light here, and then you've also got your normal LED light. It charges up with a USB, and you can use it as a power bank. So if you have any of your devices that run dead out on the trail, this is something you can use to charge them right up. And not only does it have those 2 different forms of light, it's also got a red light. So if you need to walk through the trail or just find something at camp and you don't want to lose your night vision, you can use the red light and it's not going to affect your ability to see as soon as you turn it back off, just like using a normal light will. So if you need a flashlight that can really do everything, I think this is the perfect option for that. Now let's talk about something in a pretty broad form. This is my little survival kit that I take with me on pretty much every trip. Especially if you're going to be going on trips for longer periods of time, I think you need to have a real survival kit with you. Now since this category is so broad, I didn't just want to say a survival kit. I wanted to pick out a couple different things just to showcase what I'm really talking about. So one of the main things you want to have in that 72-hour kit is a way to feed yourself for 72 hours. Now with this, it's got meals to last 72 hours. You can stretch it out a little bit further, but you'll be happy to eat this for 3 days. Now for these kits, I like to eat all my stuff from Wise Company. They're the best price, and to be fair, as long as they last as long as they say they do, and they are edible and they give you the nutrition it says it does, I really don't care as much about the taste. The taste will kind of be irrelevant at that point. Now I'm going to open this one up just so you can see what all is inside of it. And these have a shelf life for up to 25 years. So this is a good thing just to even have around the house. But whenever you go on these trips, the way that this food is packaged, you sure can store a lot of food and it's not going to take up much space. Looks like we've got whey milk alternative, hearty tortilla soup, teriyaki rice, cheesy macaroni, crunchy granola, and another thing of crunchy granola. So if you wanted to take this out for a specific bag, you could put these in a bag just like I have for that one, or you can keep them in a box, whatever you prefer. But just having the ability to feed yourself for a couple extra days if you're going on a long overland trip, or if you're just going to find some new trails that you're not really familiar with, just having the ability to feed yourself is really important. So if you do have a situation where you're really out there in the backcountry and your vehicle breaks down, you don't have to stress out about getting out of there as fast as possible. If you have the right equipment, you can take your time and maybe even enjoy being stranded for a couple days. One last thing out of the survival kit that I really feel like I need to mention is going to be something basic like a life straw or some other way to filter out your water. So with these, you have the ability to drink directly from a water source and it'll purify it by the time it gets to your mouth. These are really helpful and they don't require much work like starting a fire to be able to purify our water and have a container. So it's all just one step, sit through it like a straw. This is a really great product to have, even if you just plan on going off-roading for one day, because you could sit your water down wherever you stop to eat lunch and completely forget about it. So this would make the trip a whole lot easier if you have the ability to just walk up to a river or stream and drink straight out of it and know you're not going to have any issues from that. Now last but certainly not least is something that blows my mind that people don't consider taking whenever they go out on the trail. I may understand it a little bit more if you're just going out to the desert, but around this area, if you're going off-road, you really need to take a really nice cutting tool. I can't tell you how many times I've came around a bend and came into some really severe deadfall or just a tree that's fallen over from a storm. These Gerber machetes are really nice and really robust. This one specifically, whenever they did their collaboration with Bear Grylls, is my absolute favorite machete that they've ever made. It's got the perfect amount of weight, it's the perfect angle, and you can chop all day without your hand getting tired or your forearm. So I recommend if you can find these anywhere, go out and get one, but they're pretty hard to find nowadays. Well, I hope you guys got something out of this video. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see next. But until then, Godspeed.